the storefront.
Yeah. By the Walgreens?
There he is. Yvonne, you're always
Pressing.
ready at 9 o'clock. I really like
I
that.
haven't heard that.
Not all sure people are.
I try.
You never said it.
Hi, Brian.
They have no idea what to do. No.
Morning, everyone. It's 9 a.m. on February 21st. I'm Vern Tepe. This is the Public Service Committee of Kane County. I hereby call it to order and ask for a roll call.
Brown,
Brown is here.
Leonard,
Leonard here.
Lewis, Shepro, Surges,
Burgess present.
Kopi, Tepe.
Tepe here. Thank you. May I have a unanimous motion for the approval of the minutes of March 17th?
So moved.
Second, Surges.
Any objections? Okay, the minutes are taken care of. Do we have anybody for public comments this morning? Good. That's always good, right? Finance Committee, or Finance Department, should say. Not here. All right, the reports are on file. The recorder.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Sandy asked me to stop over and visit you again this morning. Just want to let you know from looking at the reports, I'm sure you can tell the number of documents are down quite a bit from what they were. The revenue is still staying fairly steady though. So the amount of revenue stamps that are being collected is pretty close. Once again, a lot of it is due to a lot of corporate sales and stuff like that as opposed to residential. And we are seeing a kind of a little bit of a dwindling with the refis. I think people are finally, getting to the end of doing the refis because their interest rates are going up. So
Everything's in line, all right?
Mhm.
Thank you. Our treasurer.
Good morning. My report's on file, but I have additional information about the tax bills that are going out. I thought I'd share it with the board if that's okay.
Do they have to go out?
Well, it's one of those main things in my job, and if it doesn't go out, I think that would be a distinct failure. So yes, sir. This year, the county total extension is $1,442,990,497.24, which is an increase of about $40 million, just over $40 million from year to year. The first installment due date is June 1st of this year. Second installment date is September 1. We go live online. Bills will be available online April 26th. They will be mailed out Friday, the 29th. There are several different ways to pay your bill. You can do it online at kanecountytreasurer.org. Using an e-check is free of charge. A credit card includes a 2.35% convenience fee, a debit card, a 1.15% convenience fee. You can mail it back to the treasurer's office. There's a self-included envelope in there. There's a drop box behind our building right here that's open 24 hours a day to accept your tax bills. And then there are many Kane County banks who will accept your tax bill. A list of those banks is on the treasurer's website. And as always, we accept your tax bill in person at the treasurer's office.
So many ways to pay.
Yes, sir. And the tax bill is really a coordination from three different offices. The treasurer's office, Mark Armstrong, the supervisor assessor, and then Jack Cunningham, the clerk's office. So we're the end result. We're the one who sends out the bills and collects it. But clearly, I want people to understand that it's through a really good working relationship and organization between those three offices that get it done.
Okay, thank you. Any questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir,
just
Mr.
one,
Leonard.
Mr. Kilburn. I listened to your report and you said it looks like property tax revenue is going to be up about 40 million overall. We receive maybe 4% of that. So can we, if everything looks okay, look for about a $1.6 million increase in our revenue there?
That would be reasonable math, but I don't have the charts to make that, to confirm that. But yes, that all sounds reasonable math to me in that regard.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Leonard probably already has it spent. Okay, thank you. Next, Supervisor of Assessments, I see he's online.
Good morning, members of the committee. Thank you for entertaining my ability to get things done online today. I am downstate for a couple of days of meeting, coming to you from, I was going to say sunny Decatur, but as you can see behind me, it's cloudy Decatur. But I am sitting in the Macon County boardroom, so at least I am among where I would normally be at this time. So my report begins on page 32 of your packet. And the treasurer was correct in talking about all the things that happened beforehand. We're already working on next year's, and you can see it there on the screen as well. And in your packet on the chart on page 32, you can see the projected equalization factors, and that's broken down by each township. What this means very briefly is if the township assessor makes no revisions or corrections to the township assessor's figures for the 2022 payable 2023 tax year, this is the factor that will be applied to all the non-farm property in each township. Now, I do get occasionally questions, how is this calculated? And so on page 33, I actually have a very, very brief explanation of all the steps that are taken and the calculations, the math that's used. If you want a super detailed explanation, there is a hyperlink there to a publication from the Illinois Department of Revenue about how all the things that go into this. This is kind of the view from 30,000 feet. Other than that, though, I don't have any intention of reading all of that off to you at this point. My normal statistics that I report are on page 34 of your packet in front of you. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Any questions for the assessor's office? Okay, thank you very much. Enjoy
You're welcome.
your cloudy day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
Next is the Regional Office of Education. Good morning.
Good morning. Pat asked us to report out today on mental health as it was brought up at a prior meeting. So Josh Axelson and I are here. He is our coordinator of alternative programs in the county or at the ROE. And so we thought we would spend a few minutes just talking a little bit about what we've been doing to address the mental wellness of our students and staff. Just briefly, we had Institute Day on March 4th, which I believe was already reported on, but that was a day completely committed to social emotional learning for our students and staff. I did bring a copy of those sessions if anyone would like to see that. And that was very well received, and we'll be back there next year. I did apply for the community partnership grant through the Illinois State Board of Education, our partners being the health department primarily. So beginning in the fall of 2022, we'll have a new program at the regional office that focuses primarily on the mental wellness of students, staff, and parents. And that was approximately $660,000 for 2 years. So we're really happy to be kickstarting a new program. In addition, we serve our homeless and unaccompanied youth through the McKinney-Vento legislation. This year, we budgeted $36,000 for mental health counseling for our homeless and unaccompanied youth. So they are having personal counseling sessions and taking advantage of that. With our ESSER grant funding, we paid for the SEL conference for 3 years. The ISB has created social emotional learning hubs throughout the state. So we are participating in that, and that's covering Institute Day presenters, workshops that are for youth mental health first aid. So the next session for that will be in September. So if anybody's wants to attend, please just let us know and we'll help you to get registered. The PD department also has courses on self-care and a variety of SEL topics online. through our alternative programs, which Josh oversees, many of them, all of our programs are located within the school districts, and we partner with the school districts on those. And many of them are focused on social emotional learning, because a lot of our kids, for whatever reason, whatever difficulties they're having, maybe the standard school environment isn't for them, but they feel like school is a different place when it's in the alternative program. So they are focusing on SEL. So on February 23rd, Josh and the King County Health Department hosted the Youth Mental Health Forum. And that was, this is our third year of hosting this forum. The first year we were able to be in person, and then COVID hit. So we've had to do 2 years online. So you imagine that talking about mental health virtually is not exactly the environment you want to be around, but it's still maintaining that conversation, the dialogue of mental health. So again, we partner with the King County Health Department. There'll be a release or a results launch from those discussions by the health department on what day was it?
May 5th.
May 5th. So we had 100+ students participate online, which is pretty good. And then 6 students served as panelists, and Josh moderated a conversation about mental health in schools with them. And, you know, there were some common themes that came out, and I don't want to, you know, steal the thunder of the health department, so I won't get real in depth. But some of the things that they talked about were reducing the stigma of mental health within their schools, but also within their families and within the cultures of which they are. They really believe that school staff and all school staff, not just teachers, should have training on mental health. And then just whatever we can do to help parents to understand how they can best serve their children who are suffering from mental health issues. And then the last one was access to timely mental health services. Seems to be a real challenge of getting appointments and those kinds of things. So Josh will be hosting it again next year, and hopefully we are in person. So I think that will be a great opportunity. And typically there is a public portion, so you'll be welcome to attend, and we'll be sure that you get that information. But I think you'd be very impressed at how articulate the students are, not only about their own mental health, but how they can support their peers who are having difficulties. So kind of our next steps are going to look into supporting parent workshops, probably closer to where the parents reside, not necessarily maybe in our office, but maybe within the school districts, and how we can support that.
Okay.
That's part of my report. The other part is Educator of the Year is next Friday. So if you want to go, please let me know, or let Angie Nor know, and we'll be sure to get you tickets.
Okay, I'll come back to that in a
Okay.
moment. I know, if I recall correctly, I believe Mr. Copey was the one who really had some questions about this a month ago. Mr. Copey, did this presentation help you?
Yes, thank you, Mr.
Okay.
Chairman. Well, a portion of the discussion at a board level is implementing the possibility of implementing tax for mental health and public safety. So this parlays into that discussion quite well, and we'll just have to continue the discussion. And if there's any type of a collusion between the county and the school board districts, that information would be welcome. But
Yeah, I
thank you
agree.
for your help and such.
I agree. I didn't mean to blindside you with the question, but
No, that's fine.
okay. And then it's next Friday night. I know my wife and I plan on attending. I'll
Okay.
go through the process of signing up.
Okay.
I do have the card,
Okay.
but this is for Educator of the Year. I
Yes.
noticed there are several awards being presented, and
Right. Yep. So it's our 46th. We had to miss 1 year because of COVID. So last year we did it virtually. So we're back in person at the Q Center.
okay.
I'm very excited to be in person.
All right, thank you. Any other questions? All right, I'd like to Instead of calling on the county clerk, I'd like to introduce Jake Zimmerman, who is here, and as was discussed in our last meeting and has been discussed in the county board, the Veterans Assistance Commission was supposed to have reported through this committee. I had that discussion with Mr. Surgis at the little bit over a year ago, and we decided to leave it the way it was with it reporting to the HR committee. Now I guess that's been reversed. So I want to welcome Jake Zimmerman, and thought I'd give you the opportunity to ease in. And I think in perhaps 2 months, it would be good for you to put on a little presentation about, what the Veterans Commission does, so that you can educate us and the rest of the people about it too.
Sure, absolutely.
Jake, make me proud, buddy.
Sure will. I do have a brief introduction this morning of the commission that I'll give. The Veterans Assistance Commission is an independent unit of local government. We have an independent board of directors, or the commission, that's made up of delegates of each of the VFW, American Legion, and vets posts throughout the county that are appointed annually. The commission has a staff of 4 folks who work in our office downstairs on the first level, whose job it is to maximize the benefits for the 20,422 veterans who live in Kane County, as well as their dependents and their survivors. That staff is made up 100% of military veterans, and actually all 4 of us are from different branches of the military. We have on average 165 clients who come through our office on a monthly basis, to whom we provide direct support. Last year, our staff filed 519 claims applications to the VA, and additionally appealed 119 decisions to the VA. On the topic of those appeals, our staff does provide advocacy and representation throughout the entire VA claims process, up to and including representing the veteran at a Board of Veterans Appeals hearing before an administrative law judge. Last fiscal year, our staff secured $3.9 million in new VA benefits that went straight into veterans' pockets right here in Kane County, which represents a return of $12.92 of direct financial dollars in people's pockets in Kane County for every dollar of property taxes we received last year. As far as how much the VA spends annually in our county, $58 million in VA healthcare benefits for our veterans, $59 million in direct disability benefits. That's the number that we impact primarily. And then $10 million in other benefits like education, life insurance, and so on. Our report is on page 48. Nothing's out of tolerance, but I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Mr. Chairman, Surgis.
And Mr. Surgis.
Jake, if you could just, I appreciate you giving the report. I appreciate you mentioning your staff, but you left out a couple words like award-winning staff. These are hard-charging, top-of-the-line, recognized leaders in this. And in terms of our veterans, at least the reports that I've looked at for the past 3 years, Jake has typically outperformed the average for our veterans here in Kane County.
We are very fortunate to have the staff that we do. They're very well trained and very well motivated, very good at what they do.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Next on the agenda is the county clerk. Before we turn it over to the county clerk, I'm a bit disappointed in the fact that there is a major election security presentation that they are planning on putting on today. I'm extremely disappointed that, one, they hadn't talked to me about it in some depth and had not presented it so that I could explain to the committee that this presentation was scheduled. It ended up being submitted to the online. I had a copy forwarded to me at 8:30 this morning. There are 59 slides in this presentation. And I'd like to hear from the committee as to whether or not you want to hear that presentation today, or whether you would like to have it delayed to next month.
Mr. Chair, Surgis.
Yes, sir.
When I called you last night with a scheduling conflict, I asked you if there was anything on the docket that required me to modify my schedule. And this is one of the rare times that I've zoomed in. If I knew this was there, I would have by all means modified an additional board meeting that I had at 10 o'clock this morning. So I would ask that this get pushed off just to the next one so we can be in person or call a special meeting.
Okay. Any other comments? Mr. Leonard?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would just like to agree with Mr. Surges. We do have a 10 o'clock agriculture meeting, which I would hope that we could start near or on time. So if it wouldn't be too much trouble, I would prefer to have it rescheduled for our next meeting. But that's, of course, at the pleasure of this committee.
Mr. Brown, I see you went off mute.
Yep, I would agree with the last two comments.
Okay, I think we have consensus.
Opie, please.
Delay the presentation to next month. Okay, I will see that the presentation is forwarded to you so that you have a copy of it in advance. All right. County Clerk.
Good morning. You have a copy of our report on file. Any questions?
I have no questions. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I have a suggestion. This report you were going to do today would probably best be served for a committee of the whole. So a greater number of board members would hear it. Because I don't think they read the minutes. That's, I mean, not that you couldn't have it here, but it should be done to a bigger audience. Because it is a popular subject. Security, that is.
The committee asked for a presentation and we're here to prepare it.
We have to do things in advance. You have to notify the chairman, so he's ready.
Mr. Kenyon, microphone, please.
Oh.
Okay.
Did you hear that or you want to repeat it? Okay. Oh, Mr. Leonard, sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, Mr. Pollack, if it wouldn't be too much trouble, I agree with Mr. Kenyon. I would like everybody on the board to understand exactly how you've set things up and how things are going to work for the election. Because, you know, if people aren't present for reports or information on it, they question whether things are being done properly, improperly, or whatever. And I think your report would really be beneficial to the whole county board if that would work with your schedule at a committee of the whole meeting.
Talk to the clerk.
I will, first off, I'm going to review this. Okay. Going through 59 slides in a few minutes time, just to look at there's a tremendous amount of material in there. I'll take a quick review on this. I like the idea of having this presentation for committee of the whole. I agree with Mr. Kenyon. This is something that the entire board should see.
Pretty important.
Okay. So
More newspaper coverage too.
I personally will review this and again, we'll forward it out to the committee and I'll speak with Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Any other business? Okay. Wouldn't know how to go into executive session if we needed to. We never have, so, okay. May I have a motion to have reports placed on file?
So moved.
Second?
I don't get to do anything. That's just a guest.
I'll second. There we go.
Second. Third, just second.
All in favor?
I think we have to do.
Okay, that'll do. And,
I think we have to do a voice vote.
sorry, what?
I think we have to do an individual vote on that roll call
Oh,
vote.
let's have a roll call on that.
Brown,
Brown, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Surges,
Surges, yes.
Copy,
Copy, yes.
Tepe.
Deputy, yes. Okay. In honor of Mr. Kenyon, may I have a motion for adjournment?
Leonard moves for adjournment.
Brown will second.
Round second.